Today we're going to be talking about, get my notes, the power of Pilates for mental clarity and focus. I recognized, or I realized that when I started taking Pilates that we had a lot of like breathing techniques, which we're going to talk about in this video, and I loved how I tried to take that home with me and include it in my affirmations that I do the morning or night, not every day, but like as frequent as I can, for my meditations. And I thought, you know what, Pilates has really like pushed me into being more mindful and practice mindful meditation. So we're gonna get into that right now. Okay, number one, the one thing I really love about Pilates is that there is a lot of mind-body connection. So when you're on the reformer, they'll tell you like what you need to do, and you'll see like a video, at least where I go, of what you need to do, the next steps and like the springs and whatnot. And they tell you that you need to engage your core, or you need to like loosen up your shoulders, and you don't realize that your shoulders are like super tense. Like I didn't realize how often like this shoulder would just be up, and now that I go to my Pilates class and we're constantly being told like relax your shoulders, or like bring it back, or like don't arch your back so much, like I'm constantly having to be aware of every single part of my body all at once, and then still like do like these small movements, and sometimes they're hard, sometimes they're easy, and I recognize like, okay, I'm like this, I'm like, oh crap, I didn't even realize I did that again. And I get mad at myself, or not mad, but just like, wow, like I do this way more than I thought I did. Then when I go home, I'm like, okay, I'm at my computer, I'm typing, I'm at work, and I'm like, relax your shoulders. I'm like, my goodness, girl, what is going on? Relax your shoulders. So it really makes you hyper aware of every, I don't want to call it tick, because I know like that's a different thing, but like everything that your body does, or like weird postures that you hold. Like you don't want to do that all the time. It's not good for you. Another thing is like it goes into this, but controlled intentional movements. So now when I'm at my desk, and I'm using my desk example because I am an accountant, I do a lot of work on my computer. Of course, I do this, so like I have to do editing, emails. I'm on my computer a lot. So when I'm on my computer, I'm looking at my desk right now. I'm on my computer and I'm like, okay, I fix myself, right? And I'm not, this is not like, oh, you're doing this, I'm mad at you. No, it's okay. Controlled movement, and I'm typing and I'm being aware. And I'm like, okay, I'm able to do this now. Or when I'm on my bed and I'm just like been looking at my phone, and I'm like, okay, slowly come up. Because being like super fast and super rigid and harsh on yourself isn't like good for your body. Like you just jump out of bed and you're like, okay, come on girl, stretch, like what's wrong with you? No, slow movement, controlled movement is far better. So like when I'm in my Pilates class or on the reformer, when you do something fast, you're using momentum. You're like, oh yeah, this is easy, this is easy. But then when you're slow and controlled, you have to engage with every single movement. You have to know exactly where it will go, and you're not using momentum. It is so much harder. So then when I'm at home and I'm like on my bed, like I'll probably like gently get up. I'll gently like stretch or move around. I'm being more intentional. It's hard to explain unless you actually do it, which you should try it at least for a month and then incorporate it into your own life. And then the other thing is there's a lot of engagement of your core. So let's say you're on planks. Oh, I hate planks. But let's say we're doing planks on the reformer and I have to engage my core, right? You recognize like now like how much you arch your back. You're like, okay, no, engage your core. And I always knew what engaging your core meant, right? Because like I would do like squats or deadlifts, right? And then like I have to engage my core in that way. But also engaging your core is like locking your booty glutes. Your glutes. Locking your glutes. Your core is your abdomen, your butt, and like I want to say half of your thighs. I could be wrong, right? But it protects your back, and then you have to breathe, and you realize like, okay, I don't know how to breathe, I don't know how to engage my core, I don't know how to do anything, I'm weak. It's okay. That is your initial thoughts when you get into it, and that's normal. That was my initial thoughts, and I thought of myself as a very fit person. I used to play basketball, I used to do gymnastics when I was in elementary school, I like to run, okay, that sums it up. But you don't realize like, okay, like I haven't really been breathing, I haven't really been engaged with my body or my core, what we're talking about. And you realize like, okay, like my back doesn't hurt as much, or now I can fix my posture more, or like, oh, this workout was supposed to be for my back thighs, not my middle back, right? You start to realize the importance of engaging your core. And when you take that back home with like mindfulness, right? When I'm meditating, I'm sitting up straight, I'm not slouching, I'm engaging my core, but I'm not like trying to be rigid, because engaging your core is just, you can't see it, but it's like right here, right here. And it relaxes you to be so still, to be so in control of your body, because when you engage your core, you're in more control. You're not like all flimsy dimsy. But like I said, a lot of this you don't really know or feel until you actually do it. So the second one is breathing techniques. I touched on this a little bit when we were talking about mind-body connection. So when you're connected to your body, of course, you're breathing in and you're breathing out. But it's not just like a loosey-goosey. No. It's with a certain movement. Let's say when you raise your arms, you breathe in. And when you bring them down, you breathe out. And like growing up, you think, oh, girl, that's silly. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to breathe regular. But no, it helps you with the workout a lot more. But when you're doing that, it fosters a calmness in your mind, right? You start to get in the rhythm of things that now, like, let's say the workout isn't too hard, or whatever the pose that you guys are doing is not too difficult. You're now like in a state where you're not thinking about what you're doing later. You're not thinking about what I'm going to eat for breakfast or dinner. You're not thinking about like, oh God, I wish this was over, right? You're just in that moment. You're so engaged with just breathing. You're not thinking of anyone or anything. And then when she says, all right, release, you're like, oh, time flew, right? I've always had an issue with thinking about everything all the time, all at once, right? I'm thinking about something that's due Sunday. I'm thinking about something that I'm planning to do in 2 weeks. I'm thinking about Christmas. I'm thinking about next year. I'm thinking about a budget. I'm thinking about dinner. I'm thinking about a million things. And I'm like constantly swirling, feeling like I'm not having enough time, even though like I know I'm not someone that procrastinates. I do things early, but yet I'm like, oh no, like I need to overachieve, blah, 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 blah. No, I take a deep breath, right? And you don't realize how much we need to breathe. You just need to breathe. And the way I incorporate this in my life is I mentioned this in my other videos, a workout plan that I had. You can check that out. But in the morning and in the evening, I try to do stretching. Even if it's like 30 seconds. 30 seconds is more than zero. You're like, girl, it's just 30 seconds, but you do nothing. You do nothing. And I do 30 seconds. 30 is better than nothing. Okay? Go try it out. But I do it for at least 30 seconds, and obviously you'll do more than 30 seconds. But if I set in my mind like, oh, I did 30 seconds of stretching, then I feel like I'm overachieving, or like I already completed it, I'm just doing more, right? You want to make sure you're not setting yourself up for failure. Like, oh, I'm going to do 30 minutes of stretching every morning. No, you're not. Like, if you want to, you can. I'm not going to put that on anyone, but you're not. If you can't do 30, if you can't do 30 seconds, what makes you think you can do 30 minutes? Right? And then you don't reach the 30 minutes, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, I can't do it, so I'm failing. And then you let it go, and then you drop it, and then you cry, and then you don't do anything for a year. Right? You don't want that. I digress. So I'm stretching in the morning. I do 30 seconds of stretching. And I'll raise my arm up, breathe in, raise it down, breathe out. This makes my stretching slow. It makes me more engaged in my body. It makes me feel calm. It makes me feel ready for the day. And at night, it makes my mind clear up. It makes me release everything of the day. It makes me ready for bed. Imagine like you're running, and then someone tells you to sit down. An object in motion stays in motion. I know it's scientific and it's corny, but an object in motion stays in motion. So when you're breathing, when you're doing the breathing techniques, when you're stretching right before bed, you're cooling your body down. You're saying, hey, body, hold on. We're about to rest you. We're about to put you down. And your body's like, okay, I'm not moving anymore. I'm not moving anymore. And then you sleep good. You guys, I have been sleeping so good. So good. Please breathe. And guess what? It's free. It's free. So just practice breathing in and breathing out and being intentional with it and connecting with your body. Point 1 and point 2, they're amazing together. Number 3. Pilates an active form of meditation? I personally don't like, I know I said I meditate. I'm sorry. I personally don't like the traditional meditation where it's sitting still, breathing in, breathing out, and clearing your mind. It's so hard for me to just sit still sometimes. Like even here I am like jumping. To sit still and just breathe and like meditate and like clear my mind. I can't do it. So I stayed away from it for years and years. The reason I was able to get back into it with Pilates is because when I was in my Pilates class, like I said with the breathing technique and the mind body connection, I was able to completely forget about everything in that moment. I was just so focused on the way my body's positioned, the way I'm moving it and breathing. Like I'm not thinking about how I'm looking. I'm not thinking about what I need to do. I'm not thinking about what I want to become. My mind is free. And I was able to do, my Pilates classes are 45 minutes. I'll say like really like 40 minutes because like 5 or so is like stretching and whatnot. But it's 45 minutes. And for those 40 minutes, I'm completely disconnected from the world. And I love it. It's so relaxing. And oftentimes people talk about like how hard a Pilates class is. Like, don't get me wrong, like there's definitely times where I'm just like, fuck, what is this? Like, why did I sign up? But overall, I always leave feeling better than I came. And it's more mental than physical. Always. Always. I never leave hurting either. And the reason it's active meditation is because you're moving your body, obviously, and you're letting go of things. And that's what meditation does. The reason it's so hard for people to like meditate regularly is because we don't usually practice sitting still for so long unless we're consuming media, food, something, right? Where we don't really like being alone with our thoughts. And I feel like Pilates is a good introduction to meditation. It's a really good introduction, especially if you're someone that likes to move. Now, if you recognize like, oh, okay, like I only like this active meditation, like I cannot do the sit down, that's fine. It's literally perfect. When I come home to meditate, as I mentioned earlier with the stretching morning and night, I like to go on YouTube. I'll put on like these affirmations and it'll say it's like I am affirmations or you are, and like they wait for you to repeat it and stuff. I'll like put here the one that I use that I absolutely love. And I'm repeating what she's saying and I'm stretching and I'm focusing on breathing. Sometimes I'm not even paying attention to what I'm repeating. That's how focused I am in my meditation. That I'm just so focused on like, okay, like stretching out my leg and like touching it and bringing my arm up. Like sometimes I'm not even counting how many reps of something that I'm doing. I'm just doing it based off of feeling, right? Or like sometimes I'm like, okay, for 5 minute affirmations, I'll do like my right leg, and then another 5, I'll do my left leg. But then sometimes I'm not even recognizing what the affirmation is saying. Like, oh, I'm beautiful. I am worthy. I am more than I can fathom, right? And I'm repeating it. Not even registering what I'm saying. I'm so engaged with the moment in my body. And then when I'm done stretching, I pause the YouTube video and it says like, oh yeah, 15 minutes. 15 minutes? Any other day or any other time before I'd done this, I would do maybe 5 minutes, right? If I were to sit down and meditate and do those affirmations, like I couldn't just sit there, close my eyes. I am beautiful. I am like at some point I'm like, okay, girl, you're being repetitive, even though like the affirmations they repeat themselves, not for like the whole time, but like they'll repeat themselves for a certain interval, right? I would have just been like, okay, all right, that's enough. Now I'm like, no, I love it. I'm able to engage with it and feel it and like feel like a much happier person. It is an amazing, amazing experience. And without Pilates, I don't think I would have appreciated it as much, that I wouldn't have engaged with it as much. Because I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, I would do it and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Because I just got into Pilates, like I'm still learning to be connected with my body and my breathing. But the more I did Pilates, the more I got connected with my body, the more I got connected with my breathing, the better I got at meditation. And I was able to take that home. And sometimes I would do even moves here that I learned in my class that I know I can like do on the ground that don't require like the reformer to like move and stuff. And it has done wonders for me mentally. I just love it. I could talk about it all day, but Pilates truly is, and I want to say, a gateway to still sitting still meditation, but it is one of the best active meditation work that you can do. Number 4, Pilates helps you concentrate more. So, with the mind-body connection, with the breathing techniques, with the mindful meditation, all these together help you concentrate. Now, we all know that we are all brain rotting, that our attention span is short, that, and I'm just not going to just blame TikTok, but like all social medias are all, even like some TV shows, they're just like quick bites and nothing's slow and everything's like quick, and like we can't like sit down and watch something for 30 minutes. Like you want to speed it up and put it on 2 times, like even on YouTube. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I put my favorite YouTubers on 1.5 speed because I'm like, all right, quickly. Pilates has taught me to slow down, to slow down. And I'm so grateful for it. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, my classes are like 45 minutes, really 40, but 45 minutes. And I'm concentrating on my body, right? To be able to connect with your body, you have to concentrate on it. I'm concentrating on my breathing. To breathe correctly, you need to concentrate on it. I'm practicing my mindful meditation. I have to concentrate on all of it all together. It made me appreciate being in the moment, thinking of nothing else, and staying focused on the task at hand. So when I'm on my computer and I'm editing my YouTube videos, if I'm doing homework, if I'm answering emails, if I'm reading a book, I appreciate how I can just focus on that singular task. And I'll say, you know what? I'm going to read this book. I'm going to read a chapter. Or I say, maybe I'm going to read half a chapter. Or I say, I'm going to do this for about 30 minutes. Cool. I'm like, it's okay. There's nothing running. I'm not late on anything. There's nothing going on that need my immediate attention. I can just concentrate and focus. And it's because Pilates forced me, it forced me to stay focused at the task at hand. I'm not thinking about, like sometimes, let me backtrack. I'll read my book and then sometimes I'll think about like, oh God, like I need to answer this email. Like, oh my goodness, like I need to do this. No, stop. Do it afterwards. In my Pilates class, I'm like, girl, why are you worried about an email that you can't answer at this second? Think about it later. Is that email running away? No. And guess what? The person that's supposed to email me didn't even email me until after the class. They didn't even email me yet while I'm thinking about it. It forced me to freaking relax and just focus on one thing at a time. And I think that's something, an art that we lost a long time ago, is actually focusing in on ourselves. And it made me appreciate more of doing one thing at a time, of not always multitasking. You don't always have to multitask. Now, earlier I had said the example of you can go like watch TV on your like iPad or your phone at the gym, like on the treadmill or something. Like there's some things it's good to like put together and that makes you feel better, that makes your life easier, you don't feel as overwhelmed. Yes. But every single task does not require us to multitask. I used to put on the TV. Oh my goodness, I sound old, but I used to put on the TV while I'm doing work. I'm not even watching TV. Why is that on? And then I'll like deter myself from my work to watch the TV, and it's like I'm not interested in it, or I'm like, why would I want? I'm literally stuttering. Hold on, I'm stuttering. Give me a second. Why would I divide my time between 2 tasks? Where this task obviously would have taken me 20 minutes to complete, but it's taking me as long as a show, which is an hour long. Why not just do the 20 minutes, finish it, feel good about it, never have to think about it again because it's already done, it's finished, it's submitted, it's sent, all of it. And then I'm watching my show. I get to enjoy it. I get to laugh. I get to see the reactions and the mannerisms, right? I don't just have to hear it. The last one, because I don't want to blab too much because I could literally talk about this for hours, is Pilates reduces stress and anxiety. Oh my goodness, this is so true. So I don't really talk about this too much. Like I kind of allude to it, but I am in my master's program for accountancy. I also work part-time at my public accounting firm. I'm also studying for the CPA exam. I also model. Girl, I'm doing too much. So obviously I'm stressed. I've never had a gray hair in my life. I'm young, okay? I'm 23 years young. I have gray hairs all over my head. You probably can't see it now because you're like, oh, it's not. It's there. They were never there in my life. And this year has been so stressful that I've grown so many gray hairs everywhere. It's actually insane. That's why sometimes I feel like my hair looks dull, right? Because I'm like, oh, it doesn't look as black because it's gray. I'm sorry. This isn't the conversation that I should be having right now. But what I'm trying to say is I've been stressed this year. Very stressed. And alongside like journaling and going on walks and just an accumulation of things, active things that I'm doing to relieve my stress, Pilates has definitely been a game changer. The breathing techniques, like we just talked about, the active meditation, mindful meditation has helped me so much in finding peace in my current situation, which isn't even bad. I think about the future of where I want to be or where I should be or where I should have been, and it stresses me out. And I feel like I'm behind in life, or like I'm late, or like my blessings are yet to come, or they're not coming at all. And I feel stressed out about, like, just a lot of fear mongering thoughts swirling in my mind. And with Pilates, it forced me into active meditation and being in a connection with my body and finding where that stress lies. And I found out that I'm sorry, I'm thinking about a lot of things right now of how I found this out. But I found out that I hold a lot of stress here and here, right? I've cried so much this year than I ever have in my life. And that isn't just because of Pilates and stuff, but I had been someone where I share my emotion, but I share more of my happy, upbeat emotion than I do like my sad, concerned, angry. And it's because, like, growing up, if something bad were to happen or something that made me uncomfortable or something, I may speak up, but it's like perhaps out of anger, out of concern, and I always advocate for myself, no questions asked. But I don't allow myself to feel sad about it. Where it's like you don't have to be a you don't have to be emotionless. You don't okay. Let You can have emotion and still be strong. You can cry and still be strong. You can be sad and still be strong. In my mind, which it's crazy because I wouldn't say this to anyone else. I wouldn't tell a friend this, but if I cry and then I wasn't strong, it's so weird to say it out loud because I don't believe it. But obviously I do if I acted in that manner. So like for years, like I didn't really cry, or like I would dust things off my shoulder, and it's like, okay, like I'm able to set boundaries. I'm able to um be assertive and state my needs, and I don't care if I'm told no. I don't care if someone doesn't like me. Like if they walk out of my life or the opportunity walks out of my life, I'm like, cool, whatever. But I'm like, okay, I can do all that and still be a little sad about it. Like it's okay. So I held on to a lot of things, not recognizing that, and then that shit was on back order, and it came pouring out. And it wasn't just this year; it was also a little bit of last year too. But this year, I actually let it flow out. So I cried so much in my Pilates class, with the accumulation of the mind to body connection, of the mind active meditation, of the breathing techniques. I was able to locate where I was feeling it, focus on where that emotion was, breathe it out. And with my active meditation, sometimes I talk. With active meditation, you can talk to yourself. Oh, not active meditation. With mindful meditation, you can talk to yourself. So I sit down or I'm stretching and I remind myself how worthy I am, how lovely I am, how whatever I need to hear. And I'm able to focus in on wherever I'm feeling that emotion, whether it be over here, here, my stomach. Sometimes it's my throat. Like I can't say it out loud. Like it's stuck in me and I have to like force it out. And I'm just like, just keep talking, just focus on how you're feeling, focus. And I'll sob, like I'll crying, and I'm like talking about things that I didn't recognize that I was holding on to. I'm talking to things that I didn't realize that I needed to get over. Like I didn't realize this was something that was a problem or holding me back or causing these limiting beliefs that were just swirling in me. And I'm able to let it go. I'm able to let it go. And I'm not just going to give the credit to Pilates 100%. I'm not. I'm not. Right? I've been journaling a lot. I have 4 notebooks for different things I need to journal about. And 2 of them are almost full. Yeah. Yeah. But with Pilates, it made me, like I said earlier, mind body connection, made me more aware of my body. I was able to locate where that pain or that sorrow or that sadness or that anger or that resentment, whatever it was, located in my body. And I was able to talk myself through it. And it was like also from YouTube videos and like of other people talking about things that they were doing, and I'm trying different things out and like seeing what works for me. And I found what works for me, and perhaps I'll talk about this in another video when I feel a little bit more equipped to, and like gather my thoughts on it. But talking myself through it or like tapping it. I think this is called like EFT tapping. Let me tell you about that. Let me tell you about ETF, EFT, whatever. I'll put it right here. Whatever it's called, I didn't even know what it was. I was going on a walk around like some park, and I think I don't even know what was going on that day, but whatever. I was super emotional, and I'm walking around, and I felt the emotion here. And because of Pilates, I recognized it was right there, and I was letting myself feel it. And of course, like through my journaling, I was like recognizing that I need to let my emotions go. So I'm walking, right? It's just active meditation. You don't have to be still. You can walk and meditate. Yes. And I don't even care that I'm in public. I don't care that there are people around, and I'm talking to myself. And I recognized that I was getting choked up, that it was like stuck in my chest, and I wasn't sure like how to let it go. And I just started gently tapping, and I was just sobbing, like I was crying, and I was letting it go. And I just kept tapping and tapping, and I was able to like feel all these emotions, and I'm crying. I'm thinking to myself, this is insane. Like, and I'm tapping, and I'm soothing myself, because like with the tapping, it's like, how can I explain it? Like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. It's like helping it. Like, imagine like you're trying to like pour something out. Like you have to like just shake it a little bit to like really get it out. That's what it felt like. So I'm like tapping, tapping, and I'm just speaking it out, because I didn't want to just cry. I wanted to also understand what was going on, to talk myself through it, because oftentimes people say like, oh, just cry it out, and you'd feel empty afterwards. But if you're able to talk yourself out, not out of it, through it, let it get through you, and then fill yourself with goodness with your words, you don't feel empty, because you just let go of something negative and bad and holding you back, and you're filling it in with loving and caring words, your own words. You leave feeling relieved. Like, I used to hate crying, because it's like I feel empty. Like, I cried it out. I said all the things that I'm feeling, and now I'm like an empty shell. Like, I felt something, now I feel nothing. Versus I felt negative things, now I feel good things. And I left feeling amazing. And because Pilates pushed me towards recognizing certain feelings in my body, certain pain in my body, and not just like emotional pain, but also like, physical pain too. I'm able to say, hey, there's something weird about my hip. Let me focus on, I don't know, exercising that out. Or like, hey, I recognize that when someone says this or something does this, or I see an image that it elicits something in my heart that's hurting. And it's like that person wasn't intentional on hurting me, but I'm hurt by it. Where do I feel that? Oh, okay, I feel it in my eyes. Okay, right? I don't really tap my eyes, because that's weird for me. For me. And I'm like, okay, focusing on talking myself through it and recognizing where it is. It is so helpful. Like, I'm telling you guys, recognizing where you feel your emotion. And I'm not the first person to think about this. There's books on this, years old, that talk about this. You hold emotion in your body. You hold memory in your body. That's how some people like cut their hair when like after something traumatic happens, or like they get out of a really bad relationship. Hair holds memory. Your body holds memory. Your body holds emotion, right? And it's not like hair where you can just like, oh, I have pain. You can't just cut your arm off. You can't cut your heart out. What can you do? You can tap the bad things out of it. You can talk the bad things out of it. You can meditate the bad things out of it, and like fill it with good things. It has been the biggest game changer. I feel like every point that I made almost felt the same, because it's just like a full circle moment. There isn't a single point where it's a standalone on itself, right? When I'm breathing, I'm being mindful. When I'm mindful, I'm being connected to my body. When I'm connected to my body, I'm reducing my stress. Like, everything is interconnected, that it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like its own point. Like I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over, but I'm not, because it took me, I don't know how long it took me. How long has it been? A couple weeks, but a couple weeks. It took me achieving each step for me to utilize all of them together. Right? It took me being it's hold on. I think I had to learn breathing techniques first and engaging my core to be able to have a mind body connection, right? Because breathing was like the hardest thing. You're like, okay, like this feels weird. I'm like, okay, don't even focus on that. Focus on, make sure you're breathing, right? Make sure your core is engaged so my back doesn't like hurt, right? I focus on those things. I achieve those things. Still working on it, but I achieve those things, and I'm able to now focus on my body and be aware of things. So then I'm able to recognize when I have emotions swelling, where I'm able to lean into like mindful meditation because I'm able to have my breathing techniques and being able to focus and like focus on staying in present in the moment. Like you have to achieve each thing first before you can use them all and actually see the benefit of it. And if you are just now starting your Pilates journey, it's okay if you don't feel it right away. This is week, I don't know. Okay, I keep saying I don't know, but it's literally in the title, so it doesn't matter. Just take your time. It will come. It will come. This full circle moment that I had, it will come. And you don't even have to do Pilates forever to be able to get to this point, but it has definitely been a game changer for me. I'm done. I'm done talking your head off. I hope you guys are enjoying this journey as much as I am. This video felt a lot more personal than the other ones. Like sometimes the other ones felt like a little bit robotic or mechanic when I talked about it, but this one I feel deeply for. And if I don't take anything away from Pilates, this is the one thing I'm going to take away, is the act of mindful meditation, or every point that I made. It will help you in every aspect of your life, not just workouts. So please try it out and let me know how it goes. And just like good luck with life. All right? Okay. I love you guys.